All right, let's admit the last people. I will copy this down and put it in the chat. Copy, copy, copy. So if you are just joining us, here is the link for you to log on. And we're going to do a little review of chapter 4. At this point, hopefully you're feeling very confident. All right. Now I should have, there's 12 people in this meeting. Please go ahead and click on the link and log on. We're just going to do a little, whoops. There we go. There I am. Okay, go ahead and log on here so that we can do a little review and see who can remember the most. I have half of you on. Take 3 more seconds to log on and then we will get into this game. In 3, 2, uh-oh. There might also be an issue as people are connecting here. So we'll just play along as people get on. Thank you, good job. For anyone else who just logged in, here's the link to our game. Let's go ahead and start. We're looking at chapter 4. All right, where does Crooks live? Important detail at the beginning of chapter 4. Where does Crooks live? Yay! Most people got in the bunkhouse. Good job. Let me quickly put the link here again for anyone else just joining us, and we'll go to the next level. Fran, congratulations, right on top. Valentina, very fast. We only have 20 seconds on each question, trying to speed through. Can you remember the adjective that describes Ooh, good guesses. So he was described as proud. As in, and you know, rude is one that is worth getting confused with because he was, you know, not letting Lenny in. But congratulations. Let's see who got this. Dun dun. Whoa, congratulations. Next question. Why was Lenny in the barn? I added the link into the chat if you just started. Good job. He wanted to see his puppy. All right. Whoa, Fran, you are on it. Good job. All right, next one. Why isn't Crooks allowed in the bunkhouse? There are 2 answers to this question. So you have a 50-50 chance of getting it. Yay! Good job. Yeah, so there were actually these 2 answers would be considered correct. They would say that he stinks, which is a very rude thing to say. And then also it was common at that time to not include someone because of their race. All right. But why does Crooks let Lenny in his room? Good job. Most people recognized it's because he seemed different. There was something about him that Crooks felt like, oh, he's not going to be mean. 3 players have reached answer streak 3. Congratulations. What does Crooks like about Lenny? Yeah. He feels like he can say things and Lenny will not remember them. So he can say what he actually thinks. All right, next question. Where did Crooks grow up? Ooh. And I just added the link for anyone who joined us. Yeah, good job, on a ranch. All right, Matilda, congratulations. You're getting called out on this one. Way to go. Next question is, what does Crooks say that upsets Lenny? Yeah, you got it. He insinuated that why would George want to come home? All right, Matilda, 6 correct in a row. You jumped up to the top. Sorry, Fran. We got 3 people who are fighting it out on top. Who comes looking for Lenny? Who is the 3rd person who comes to the barn? Yes, Candy. All right. Oh, wow. Look at that. You guys are really going to fight it out. All right. Why is Crooks jealous of Lenny? Very few people, if you've noticed in the story, have a partner, except for if they're married. All right, jumping through. What does Crooks say about being alone? Ooh, it'll drive you mad. Yeah, this was a very small detail. Let's see how you did. Fran, you are on top. Paula, congratulations for jumping up there. What secret did Lenny tell Crooks? Oh my gosh, you got this. Way to go. Nice work. All right. Next, where did George go? Why was George not at the ranch? Ooh, yeah, this was a trick one. He was out with the other guys, and it was sort of insinuated that he was going to a house with prostitutes. All right. Paula, oh my goodness, now we really don't know who's going to be the top winner here. Who else shows up at Crook's room? So now we have three people. Who is the fourth person that shows up? Good job. Yeah, Curly's wife. Curious, looking again. Paula's on top. Fran is right there. All right, next question. We have three more. What does Curly's wife call the men that are left behind? The weak ones. Yeah. The ones that nobody else wants. All right. What was Curly's wife's American dream? What did she want to do with her life? Become an actress. Great. All right. How are we doing? Ooh, so close. All right. Last question. Let's see how you. Oh, two more questions. Two more questions. What does Curly's wife threaten to do? Have Crooks strung up. And we're going to be looking at this a little bit more in our musical connections. Congratulations, Valentina, getting a shout out there with 4 correct answers in a row. Last question. Why does Crooks change his mind about joining George, Lenny, and Candy? Correct. All right, let's check out these winners. Dun dun, Matilda, congratulations. So many, you worked your way up there. Amelia, way to go. And officially in first place, we have Paula. Congratulations. I think this is your first time. Runners up, Fran and Diego. Thanks, everyone. Okay. All right, I am going to close this down. And we will jump into the PowerPoint. So first, I want to make sure that you can see the PowerPoint. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can see today's objectives? Or are you still seeing the computer? Sorry, the dictionary. Ooh, thumbs down. Okay, let me stop sharing and share again. Now I have managed to lose the Zoom controls, so this will take me just a second. And then let me share it again. Okay. Now can you see, give me a thumbs up if you can see this week's objectives, this week's plans. Thank you. Good. All right, so we just finished the Kahoot. Today, we are going to be looking at the TOEFL listening sample. And before we jump into that, I wanted to do a little musical connection, a song that was very famous. I have someone whose mic is on. Thanks. a very famous song that came out in the 1930s by Billie Holiday called Strange Fruit. Before we listen to that, your assignment for next week is to read chapter 5 and then do Lambs of Mice and Men chapter 5. This is due on June 2nd before class. Any references to chapter 6 in this Lamb assignment is purely speculative about what you think will happen. For class 2 today, we have this video response, and I'm going to show it to you on Educandus. But on June 9th, we are going to do a listening test. So between now and June 9th, I have 2 things for you to do, and I'm going to show you on Educandus. So first, for class 4, here we go. You should see it down here on the bottom. You're going to want to do this. Gabrielle's coming back in. Let me just write it down here. Class 4 video response right down here. It is on the chapter 4. Does anyone have a question about that? Okay. If no questions, let me take this off. We'll go to the next slide because here are the things that I would like you to do to prepare for the listening test. Please remember that the listening test is on June 9th. So that's in 2 weeks. It's not next week, it's in 2 weeks. So before we get to this test, please test your audio. There's a small trick that you need to do. Make sure that the audio works. And then there is a practice test.
Miss Sarah?
Yes.
Can you explain me that again? Since I can hear you.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
what happened to my computer.
Yeah. Let me also, I would just like to write this on here, June 9th. We have a listening test. So I want you to make sure that you prepare for June 9th. This is actually on part 5 of Educandus. So I just want to make sure that you check your audio browser. This is very important to make sure the audio works on your computer, and then take a practice test. This practice test you can do 2 times, and it is approximately 50 minutes. And I'm not even going to try to write that. We will do here 50 minutes. Okay. Does anyone have a question about the listening test?
When
Yes.
is going to be the practice test?
You can do the practice test this week or next week.
It's like the lambs?
There's no grade. Lambs has a grade, but this is on unit 5. Let me see if I can actually show you on the computer. Okay, can you see my screen? Oops, that is not what I want to do. Can you see Educandus on my screen? Or am I still sharing the PowerPoint? Okay, Vicente is giving me a thumbs up that you can see it. So if you scroll down, chapter 1, 2, 3. All right, so in chapter 4, here is our class 4 assignment. So this is what you do after this class. And then to prepare for the listening test, make sure you test your audio browser and the practice test. And that is under chapter 5. Actually, Benjamin, I don't know if you can do, I think that's a great question, if you can do it on a mobile. So I would suggest you do the practice test on a mobile and see if it works for you. I believe you can do it. But that is the purpose of a practice test, so that you can see.
Miss Sarah,
Yes, Cami?
I had a question too. I really don't understand about the video response, the topic we need to talk about.
When you say the video response, do you mean this one, the class 4 video response?
I think so.
Okay, so that is our, let me go back. So the way that Idiomas or your class is set up, we have one virtual class, this one, and then you have a second hour with an activity for you to do. So your second hour is this class 4 video response.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Miss, what is the video response? Since I couldn't get the first part of the class.
It is, and now I just have to switch between these screens here so that you can see it. It is right here under chapter 4, class 4.
I can only see the PPT.
You could only see the PowerPoint. Give me a moment. I also
Yeah.
have it on the PowerPoint. Chapter 4, and then it's right here.
Yes, now I can see like the candle.
Yep. All right. Does that make sense, Gabrielle? Can you see where it's at? Okay. All right, so we are going to move on to the musical response, and I just want to make sure you have the sound here. I'd like you to use your text box, the chat. So we're going to listen to a song called Strange Fruit by Billie Holiday. This is a song about lynching. If you know the word, does anyone know what is lynching? Could you write it in the chat? Or come off mute. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of good responses. A hostile mob, so a group of people, make a decision. Yes, Vicente, publicly attack someone and kill them. And it's usually done by hanging, which is using a rope and hanging them from a tree. And as Benjamin says, it is usually Black people. So now that we know what lynching is, what does the title Strange Fruit refer to? Yeah, thank you, Nicole. I see you put it as a guess there. So this is creating a metaphor of of fruit relating to hanging from a tree, like an apple or a pear. But now we are calling this a strange fruit. What emotions do you feel when you hear this title? What is the sensation in your body when you hear the title Strange Fruit? Anyone else? Yes, thank you. Yes, it's a very difficult subject. And in this book, they don't address this specifically, but it is something that was very common in this time. And when Curly's wife says that she insinuates that she could do something to Crooks. When Curly's wife insinuates that she could do something to Crooks, this is a possible outcome that everyone knew about. So the singer of this song is Billie Holiday, and there is a movie that you can watch about her life. I'm just going to play a very small part of this trailer. You might be able to find it on different channels, but the song is called The United States versus Billie Holiday. So let me show you just a little bit of the trailer.
Don't you know who this is? She was thinking of something more special.
I'm downright flashy, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Billie Holiday.
Reporters keep asking me, Billy, why you do the things you do? This is what I tell them.
All of me.
We love you.
When I take
NAACP says Billie Holiday is the voice of our people.
I think we should integrate the audience with this show. Let's change it up a little bit. You know, blacks and whites sitting together.
You knew what you were getting yourself into when you decided to come on the road.
Get out.
Okay, so I just wanted to let you know that there is a movie out there that you can watch, because Billie Holiday would sing this song at the end of every performance, and then the lights would go out. So this was a very strong statement that she would use in her performance. And the United States launched, the FBI launched an investigation into her and made her life very difficult. And she eventually landed in a hospital and died in her 40s. Can you give me a thumbs up if you were able to hear the YouTube video? Okay, perfect. Because I would really like you to hear this song.
Get out my goddamn clothes.
There we go. I have the words over here for you, and her voice is so unique and so special. So I just want you to sit back for a little bit and hear this song. And if it is hard for you, it is okay to pause, stand up, move somewhere else. I do understand. You do not have to listen to this if this is really hard for you.
Southern trees
bears strange fruit. Blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees.
We're not going to listen to the full song, but you can find this on YouTube. And you can find other songs by her. She was an extremely talented artist, and I highly recommend learning more about her. So take a moment. Take a breath if you need it. Grab a drink, because I'm going to change very quickly into more formal listenings. And I'm also doing this because we're just short on time. An hour is so short. Okay, so this first part, TOEFL listening, what we are basing this on. So our test in 2 weeks is 5% of your grade, and it's based on the TOEFL test. This listening section we're going to look at the structure of the TOEFL listening test, talk about tips, and then we're going to practice it together. Let me jump through here. So the structure, very quickly, is 60 to 90 minutes. This is the actual TOEFL test. You will be answering 34 to 51 questions. And you will have 2 types of listenings, either lectures or conversations. So this is not at all like what we were listening to earlier. I would like to ask you, what, in your opinion, is the difference between a lecture and a conversation? You could either come off mute, raise your hand and come off mute, or write it in chat. What is the difference between a lecture and a conversation? Okay. Knowledge on the topic. Thank you, Benjamin. So I think in a lecture, we will be listening to someone who is, in this listening, an expert. Does anyone else have an idea of what the difference between a lecture and a conversation is?
I think that a conversation happens more spontaneously than a lecture. A lecture is more slow, it is slower, and a conversation is creating while they're talking.
Thank you. Sebastian, I'm sorry I didn't see your hand. I had the chat just covering yours, so thank you for coming off mute. Yeah, I appreciate that. A lecture is thought out, prepared, and a conversation is spontaneous in the moment. I also received a direct chat. A lecture is more academic and a conversation is more casual. And if you think in a lecture, you will only hear one person talking, other people might ask questions, and a conversation, the questions will be back and forth. All right, let's move. So the type of questions you will have will be asking comprehension. So those are like main ideas, the major points, the most important details, and you all have been very good, even in Kahoot, at picking up these very good details. Pragmatic refers to, the speaker's attitude, the degree of certainty, what is the purpose of speaking? So that's another thing that they'll look at. And then questions will be focused on how this is organized, how ideas relate to each other, and then looking for inferences and conclusions, and how information is connected. You will see multiple choice. You'll see multiple choice with 2 answers. Replay questions, questions that require you to put events or steps in order, and questions that require you to match objects or texts to a table so you'll see it, or maybe you will actually need to complete the chart. So I'm going to show you this very fast. I can put this PowerPoint online if you want, but you have lots of different multiple choice options, including, notice some of it's factual and some of it's going to try to trick you into a negative factual. So the 2 types of multiple choice will be looking at your main topic and your main purpose. Can anyone think of possible tips that you would use when you're looking at multiple choice questions to help you choose? So what are some tips? Ooh, good one. Search for keywords. Excellent. Any other things that you do when you're looking at a multiple choice question? Discard. Thank you, Emilio. Yes. All right, very quickly. So look, and along with those ideas, like look for your keywords, discard any answers that might be too general, too specific, incorrect, or not even in the listening. So some example questions I have here. What is the conversation mainly about? And what is the primary topic of this lecture? Another type, so here for factual, look for anything that is repeated or emphasized. Negative factual, find all the true answers. And inference, you have to make a conclusion based on the lecture. They'll give you options, but you still need to come to a conclusion. So some example questions. I have an example of a factual question here and a negative factual. So what does the professor say? And then what is not true? Does the factual and negative factual make sense to you all? Does anyone have a question about factual or negative factual? All right, let's move on. Inference, what does the speaker imply? Okay. Multiple choice, what a speaker says. We're going to be looking at how a speaker introduces or explains and their attitude. So what is their opinion? How is their opinion about it? Here we have some example questions. Why is the wife mentioned? How? So here, this is method. How is this introduced? And then what is the professor's attitude? Multiple choice questions with more than one answer. You all are getting very good at this. Usually these are your factual or negative factual questions. And this is a question type. Your replay questions are usually about the intentions. So listen carefully. And while you're listening, give me a thumbs up if you are used to taking notes when you're listening. Ooh, I got 1 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. Excellent. So when we do our practice, you're going to want to take notes while we're listening. While I'm finishing up here, you can go ahead and grab a pencil and paper. Question types, questions that require you to put events in order. This is another reason why taking notes is important. So please, I can't emphasize enough, make sure you have something to write on. Paper, I would suggest a paper and pen because you will need your computer to take our practice test right now. And then questions that require you to match an object or text into a table. And I do believe the last one is completing our chart questions. So these are where you see names and you need to organize based on the listening. It may be yes or no. Tips, take notes. Anticipate questions as you're listening. So that is why I'm making a big emphasis on listening right now so that we can prepare for this test. Manage your time. Get prepared with fake questions. Think about it. Use your process of elimination and focus. Also, listen to as many different things as you can with different accents because you will be hearing different accents. Check out phrasal verbs and any academic word lists that you have. And you should know that any technical terms are going to be defined. So let's get ready for our practice. I actually need to get you into Socrative before we listen here. So go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you can see Socrative. If not, I'm going to need to share it with you again. No, okay, let's see if I can do this. My goodness. Here we go, and I want to share. Aha, here we go. Can you see it now? Okay, you're going to want to go to gosocrative.com and enter the room name Utal Burgess. Can you see it now? I have one thumbs up. Thank you, Vicente. Thank you, Emilio. All right, I have 3 students who have answered. We're going to, all right, thanks, Cami. Okay, so I am going to start the listening. This should still be up, but I want you, let's see, I want to make sure you can hear it. So I'm going to start this. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear it.
So we've been discussing 16th century Native American life, and today we're going to focus on the Iroquois and Huron peoples. They lived in the northeastern Great Lakes region of North America. Now, back then, their lives depended on the natural resources of the forest, especially the birch tree.
Okay. So I'm pausing it just so you can make sure that you are able to take notes, because we are going to answer some questions afterwards. This, as you might imagine, is a lecture. Okay, we're going to start again. And go ahead and get ready to take notes.
Century Native American life. And today we're going to focus on the Iroquois and Huron peoples. They lived in the northeastern Great Lakes region of North America. Now, back then, their lives depended on the natural resources of the forest, especially the birch tree. The birch tree can grow in many different types of soils and is prevalent in that area. Now, can anyone here describe a birch tree?
They're tall and white. The bark, I mean.
Yes, the birch tree has white bark. And this tough, protective outer layer of the tree, this white bark, is waterproof. And this waterproof quality of the bark, it made it useful for making things like cooking containers, a variety of utensils. And if you peel birch bark in the winter, we call it the winter bark, another layer, a tougher inner layer of the tree, adheres to the bark, producing a stronger material. So the winter bark was used for larger utensils and containers.
I know people make utensils out of wood, but utensils out of tree bark?
Well, birch bark is pliable and very easy to bend. The Native Americans would cut the bark and fold it into any shape they needed, then secure it with cords until it dried. They could fold the bark into many shapes.
So if they cooked in bowls made of birch bark, wouldn't that make the food taste funny?
Oh, that's one of the great things about birch bark. The taste of the birch tree doesn't get transferred to the food, so it was perfect for cooking containers. But the most important use of the bark, by far, was the canoe. Since the northeast region of North America it's interconnected by many streams and waterways, water transportation by vessels like a canoe was most essential. The paths through the woods were often overgrown, so water travel was much faster. And here's what the Native Americans did. They would peel large sheets of bark from the tree to form lightweight yet sturdy canoes. The bark was stretched over frames made from tree branches, stitched together, and sealed with resin. You know, that sticky liquid that comes out of the tree? And when it dries, it's watertight. One great thing about these birch bark canoes was they could carry a large amount of cargo. For example, a canoe weighing about 50 pounds could carry up to 9 people and 250 pounds of cargo.
Wow. But how far could they travel that way?
Well, like I said, the northeastern region is interconnected by rivers and streams and the ocean at the coast. The canoes allowed them to travel over a vast area that today would take a few hours to fly over. You see, the Native Americans made canoes of all types for travel on small streams or on large open ocean waters. For small streams, they made narrow, maneuverable boats, while larger canoes were needed for the ocean. They could travel throughout the area, only occasionally having to portage to carry the canoe over land a short distance to another nearby stream. And since the canoes were so light, this wasn't a difficult task. Now, how do you think this affected their lives?
Well, if they could travel so easily over such a large area, they could trade with people from other areas, which I guess would lead them to form alliances?
Exactly. Having an efficient means of transportation, well, that helped the Iroquois to form a federation linked by natural waterways. And this federation expanded from what is now southern Canada all the way south to the Delaware River. And this efficiency of the birch bark canoe also made an impression on newcomers to the area. French traders in the 17th century modeled they adopted the design of the Iroquois birch bark canoes, and they found they could travel great distances, more than 1,500 kilometers a month. Now, besides the bark, Native Americans also used the wood of the birch tree. The young trees were used as supports for lodgings, with the waterproof bark used as roofing. Branches were folded into snowshoes, and the Native American people were all adept at running very fast over the snow in these birch branch snowshoes, which, if you've ever tried walking in snowshoes, you know isn't easy.
All right. So I have a timer that I will be using for us as we take this listening quiz. I'll give you 20 seconds on each question. I'm glad 15 students have answered. Go ahead and click continue. I should see 13 continues. And if you haven't logged on, please go ahead and do that. We're going to be answering these questions now. I see 10 people have clicked continue, 11. And so what I am able to do is actually show, yay, most people are clicking A for continue. All right, let's go to our next question. What is the lecture mainly about? I will give you 20 seconds. Go ahead, choose your best answer. All right, let's show our results. Ooh, 2 people are not answering. We're getting nervous. Oh, congratulations, well done. All right, going to the next question. According to the professor, what characteristics of birch bark made it useful to Native Americans? Choose 2 answers. Still 2 students hedging out there. Congratulations to the 11 students who have, ooh, 12, way to go, love it. There we go. Ooh, we got a little tricked up here, but you're absolutely right. It repels water and it's easy to fold. According to the professor, why was the canoe important to some Native American groups? Choose 2 answers. All right, getting ready. Good job to 11 students who have answered. 12, way to go. There we go. Yeah, this is okay. So we started out general. We're getting a little bit more specific. Why does the professor mention French traders who arrived in the Iroquois region? Go ahead, choose 1 answer. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and stop showing these results. Thanks, 11 students, 12 who answered. Ooh, yeah. To support her point about how efficient the Iroquois canoe was. Next question. Why does the student say this? I know people make utensils out of wood, but utensils out of tree bark? While you're answering, Nutmeg would like to see you. All right, thank you for answering. Congratulations, way to go. This was well answered. Okay, next question. Okay, so that was, I actually have more listenings, but I just wanted to make sure we did at least 1. Thank you for staying these extra 3 minutes. Remember, I'm going to just reshare our assignment. Make sure I have this up here, because I want to make sure that you can see class 4 and then any listenings you have. And I also just want to make sure that all of your questions are answered before we log off on this beautiful Friday. Okay, so please remember, for your class 2, you want to do this video response. I'm going to be checking with Idiomas about if this counts as if I can start counting this as attendance now. I know we're halfway through the semester, but we are, it's supposed to be 2 classes. So I will confirm with you next week. And I just want you to get used to working on a second assignment. Does anyone have any questions?
Is the video response is for now or like to before the before the next class?
You could really do it before the next class. Give me 1 moment. My dog is having an issue. I'm right here. Come here. Okay. Okay, it's okay. Okay, here we go. All right. Yes, if you have any questions, you can stay on later to ask. Also, please make sure that you test your audio. I want to make sure that everyone's audio is working so that you can do so that you can do the listening test. Yes, Gabriel?
Like in the audio browser test?
Yes.
It's supposed to work for us to see if the audio is working, but in my case, in my computer, it's only shown like a black rectangle, but it's not like reproducing any sound.
Oh, did I click the right one? I don't think I did. Let me show, because you have this attempt for the quiz. I wanted this one, the audio browser test. Deanna, very good question. It should be 3 to 5 minutes. Yes. And if you are really uncomfortable, I will be the only one seeing the video, but you can also just do an audio. So let me see if I can attempt this quiz now for you. It should start playing. Oh, well, I don't have it either.
Miss, I have a question too.
Yeah.
Well, I can see the video, but it said like the homework is like late for 2 years and 286 days.
Oh my goodness. Well, then that is on me.
So I can't like upload anything.
Okay. Which video is this? Is this the listening test?
Yeah, it's a TED talk about by Rich Benjamin, isn't it?
I just want to make sure I'm going to the right thing. So, not practice speaking, practice listening. Because this is probably going to be right there. Timing. Well, this is still, it's fine. There's not a problem on there. There's no restrictions. I'm not sure. Nope, that wasn't it. Benjamin, very good question. On the questions involving placing events in order, should we use the order we were told the events or chronological order? Usually they will specify that, but they will want to, they need to specify in the question. Otherwise, if they don't, it's based on the listening. So like the events that you hear. I wonder if you are referring to this video response. For the date, is this the one that's not working? That would make so much sense. Because today is the 26th of May. We'll just do that now, and we'll do the due date for next class, which is the 2nd of June. And of course, we need it to be in 2023. And this will change it all. Thank you for checking that for me, because there are so many things to remember when I upload these. All right, hopefully.
Miss?
Yep.
So that's the only activity we have to do until next class?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will check on this listening, because it's really important that you're able to do your listening. Oh, and LAMS 5. Thank you for that reminder. LAMS 5 is due next week. And chapter 5. And I'm just checking on here. Oh, here we go. Here's something that will help you check your audio. This is the one I was thinking of with this practice test 1. And then here is a link if you have any issues with the audio. And you can see things for Chrome, YouTube. So I will probably need to do this as well. And this is the one where you can do 2 quiz attempts. All right, I will stop sharing, but I will stay on here. I'm going to create a breakout room because I need to speak with a student, but you can stay on here.